News reports this morning, Navy is going to relieve Captain Owen Honors of his duty as captain of the USS Enterprise just before it set sail to head to the Middle East, et cetera, et cetera. This is the guy who is executive officer 4 or 5 years ago, made videos to entertain the troops, some of which are somewhat objectionable to some people. So naturally, they've got to end his job and his career. 1-866-331-TALK. I think it's disgusting and horrifying, not the videos, the fact that this guy's been sacked. But I had my say a couple minutes ago. If you missed it, well, you're lost. Chris has been kind enough to hold. He disagrees. Hello, Chris.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Yeah, I disagree. Before I get to why I disagree, first of all, he hasn't been fired. He's just going to be reassigned at this point, which is fairly common.
Well, you know what that's going to do to his career, though.
There's only 11 aircraft carriers. You're not going to get reassigned to being captain of another aircraft carrier.
Right, and here's my main point. The guy leads, I don't know how many people on that ship. I'm guessing at least 500-600 people, maybe even 1,000. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a couple thousand.
And he puts a video together that has bigoted remarks in it. Slam dunk, lose your job.
Are they bigoted?
Absolutely. I mean, that's not even debatable. He said fag. He said a couple of other things that I won't repeat. That's bigoted. If you take that word fag and put in some other things, the N-word or something else, would you still agree he shouldn't lose his post?
Well, it depends, but those words aren't necessarily similar. You can't directly
Absolutely
compare.
Are. They're both offensive.
Wait a second. I would say in all matters military, none of the rules that we apply to our workplace should apply. And I should make that decision. Only military people should make that decision. Only people who fight wars should make that decision. This is what pissed me off during the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, that legislation that got passed while we were on vacation. Fine, I have no problem with gays serving in the military, but all the speeches I heard about, finally we get equality, and finally no more back. I don't give a frig about that sort of stuff. I don't care about equality. I don't care about hurt feelings. I don't care about people's rights. When it comes to the military, I only care about crafting some sort of unit that can kick other people's asses. And the military gets to decide completely, in my opinion, on whether or not this is offensive.
Chris will give you the last word.
The military still functions under our Constitution, and there are people in the military that are gay that were offended by that, but of course didn't say anything.
Well, tell them to stop doing it.
Tell them to stop being gay?
No. Well, yes, I believe they can be cured. No, tell the captain to stop doing it. Chris, thanks for the call. Look, here's the leap that Chris and a lot of people make. Well, let's see. I saw these videos, and he uses the word fag to describe himself, by the way, because he plays several characters. And that's pretty rude. This is a number of years ago he did this, but... So people extrapolate, well, let's see. I'm looking at this video, and it seems to be a clue. He might be a bigot. Yeah, I'll bet he's a bigot. Yeah, in fact, he's such a bigot, we're going to end his career. We're going to take him away from commanding one of 11 aircraft carriers. Here's the flaw in that wild extrapolation. The guy's got a monstrous record as an officer and a commander. Whether he's a bigot or whether he's done a great job or not is more thoroughly documented than you can imagine. There's no need to extrapolate based on one word from a video that was designed to be offensive. There's no need. We know already.
I don't like the idea of applying modern super PC 21st century office values to the military.
Armchair judgment, yeah.
Let the military decide what's the best way to run
Kill
things.
people and break stuff.
In the most efficient way possible. And if there are people that get offended in that process, if that makes the military better, in your opinion, go ahead. I don't freaking care.
Or take a look at it and decide, well, we don't want that. But you don't have to end the guy's career. Here's Nick. Hi, Nick. Go ahead.
Yeah, my dad's a retired Air Force colonel. 79 was when he retired, and this whole incident kind of reminds me of when I went and saw A Few Good Men with him in the, mid-90s?
Yeah.
The Jack Nicholson character, You Can't Handle the Truth. And I remember after seeing that, he said, boy, that really represents the culture shift that was just brewing when he got out of the military, that it's no longer what's good for the whole is good, or good for the country, good for everybody. It's now what's good for the individual. He says, that's not the military I grew up in. That's not the military I'm glad I'm not in anymore. You know, and if you think about
it's awfully dangerous in a brutal world too, Nick.
It is, yeah, and if you think about it, we would have never had a Patton. We probably would have never had a MacArthur running the show, winning World War II, if these types of principles were applied at that time.
Boy, now
right, Nick,
now we don't have a Stanley McChrystal. I was watching a Charlie Rose episode with some military guys on there saying that was a huge step backwards for us when McChrystal got booted out for another people are offended by various things sort of situation.
Yeah. Boy, there's discouraging news out of Afghanistan, too. There's a new big study by the UN that says we've made no progress in the fighting season. It's not looking good. In a closely related story. John from Santa Rosa, not much time, John, but go ahead and make your point.
Well, I was thinking that you guys said the military should make the decisions. It should always be up to them. And as far as I know, it was the military that fired the guy.
Yeah, so, right.
Yeah, absolutely. But where's the pressure coming for them to do that, would you guess?
Well, if our military can't stand up to some political pressure, how are they going to stand up to an enemy?
John, fair enough. Well said. And in the verbal ass whoopings I've delivered are every bit for the Navy as much as they are for, society as a whole. And Katie freaking Couric acting like this guy lynched somebody. Everybody using their "oh my God" voice and their outrage. God, save your outrage for something outrageous. I don't know. The whole thing makes me sick. We are such a picky, prissy, wussy people now. We're so prissy. I mean, that's the best word. We will not get our hands dirty. We will not throw a punch. I mean, oh my God. Luckily, I think there are plenty of people who will, left in our government, in our military, in our populace, that, push comes to shove, we'll shove and push. But, God, this impulse for some sort of, perfect, starched shirt, long dress wearing old maid school marmish judgmental perfection is disastrous. God, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but when we had that in society, when society was more like that,
right,
our military was all kinds of crass.
Oh yeah,
and non-PC,
right? Because it had to be.
But now it's flipped around.
Right, we behave like whores as a people, but we want our military to be old maid school marms. What the heck? Sorry for the sailor talk.